Hello everybody. Another night has come and I am going to be in for the grind. That being said, I also wanted to cover my first 3 points in how to survive in Legend League as a free-to-play player. I'm going to wait a little bit till we get some more people in here. Hello Josh, good to see you. Ashley, always a pleasure. Just going to quickly grind out my portal stones right now. That way I can concentrate on what I will be going over in a little bit. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. But tonight's tutorial is going to be on resource management. I know it sounds really boring, but it is actually the key to surviving in Legend. Hello, Sergian. Always a pleasure. Now, to review a little bit about what I was going over yesterday in regards to rating, what you're really looking for in an event isn't those lands that have 4 troops, because that really limits how many relics that you're able to get. I'm also not one that raids high-level lands because I lose a lot of troops that way. And so I deal with these low-level lands that have levels 2 or 3 levels below my current troops. Luckily, these guys are 5 to 7 levels below. Alright, now, that being said, I am once again raiding with Kamathi here. I'm glad I'm doing these videos too, actually. I got a little side business that I am running, and I have never produced video content. This is my foray into that area now. Now, if you guys don't know how to use Panthers as well as you would like, I can't say that I'm an expert, but what I have found is that you always keep them moving. You're always trying to abuse the charge bonuses that they get, and they're able to clear these levels at a much quicker rate. Alright. Now, I do try to do a favor during these events to those that are in the league by removing all my defenses, for those that are just looking at grinding for the battles that they need for their rewards. It's nice to give a helping hand where you can. Now, I thought a lot about what exactly I wanted to cover in today's video. And it really came down to, while there's little neat tricks and tips that I can provide, they don't make any sense unless you understand what the focus is, understand what your goal is. And so I've crafted this goal over time with the understanding that in some ways I will not be able to compete with the big spenders. But that doesn't mean that I can't compete and at least be a thorn in their side. I don't have as many 4-star Titans. I don't fuse 4-star Titans unless I have duplicates, because I'm looking at maximizing bonuses. After I cover... Well, Gary, I am happy that you found my channel. These are mainly going to be educational videos that I try to complete. Whenever I can figure out how to get Discord up and running, you guys are welcome to join me. But that may not be for another week or so. I'm just happy that I'm figuring out this video stuff now. Took me long enough. Now, these tips that I am going to provide, they're not just for free-to-play players, but personally speaking, while I could spend money on this game, I'm the type of guy that would prefer not to. get my enjoyment elsewhere, especially since I got a family to feed. Now, this isn't going to take food off the table or any way, shape, or form. I guess I have a hard time treating myself to to indulge habits. All right. So now that I'm done with all of my portal stones, and while I may raid a little bit more later on, I want to cover what I intended today. So if you guys have any questions as I go over this, feel free to type them out. I'd like this to be interactive. Eventually, I plan on coming up with 2 additional ways of interaction on this channel. I don't want this to be just me expressing my ideas. If you guys have an additional thought, something that you found that works, feel free to share it. And eventually I'll find a platform to make it a little bit easier on you guys. Specifically for my channel, if you feel more comfortable, when I get Discord up and running, you are all welcome to join in. That may be a death sentence for me, but there we go. Alright, so going into what I wanted to speak on today is the very basics. And that's, where should your focus be when you play this game? If you're going to compete in Legend League, what should your focus be? Now, in the lower castle levels and in lower guilds, it's okay to have your one strong titan that does everything for you. But if you ever plan to compete for a top 3 spot in Legend, you have to start building and leveling your troops. There's no way around it. Troops are the powerhouse here. Oh, flanking. It's like a really bad charge, Gary, in the sense that you run your Panthers through and then you click to run them back through. I'll show you guys in after I go over my explanation, but it's basically the second pass through, assuming that the troop is now not facing you, but it's facing the one troop that is currently attacking it. So that's why I considered it a bad charge, because it's got very specific measures that you have to go through. And while other people are very happy with it, I would just rather simplify it, especially since we're not exactly doing PvP here. Alright, so number 1 rule about competing in Legend League as a free-to-play player is you have to level up constantly. If you have the opportunity, you should never have any of your builders available. More importantly, and this is, if you don't remember anything else from this video, is you must always, at the sacrifice of everything else, have your troops upgrading. Now, what I have found is in the later levels, you are only able to, per castle level, you're only able to upgrade your 4 specialty troops, Grenadiers, Panthers, Imperials, and Goliaths, before your next castle level comes up. Any of these other ones, as you can see, they are lower levels than everything else, because I am focused specifically on the ones that I've been leveling up for a long time. You just don't have the time to level everything up if your castle is constantly going. And so I'm leveling up Goliaths because while right now, even at level 20, they are destroyed by the people that are maxed out. The Goliaths, when they get maxed out, are brutal. To give you an idea what Goliaths look like when they are truly buffed, this is a level 20 Goliath. Looking at the health, armor piercing, critical chance. Now if I go over to my Skolnar, you'll start to get an idea for what a level troop can be. Leveled and buffed. You know, I think it'll be easier if I just go out to my castle and I'll show you guys. Can you guys hear me all right? Is the volume coming through clear? Because if not, I've just wasted a lot of your time. So, these Goliaths. Oh. Alright, perfect. These Goliaths, you'll see that at level 20 they had 40,000 health and 40% armor. With the buffs that I'm getting, my armor goes to 150%, which is not that good currently. I actually plan on pulling off all of my armor relics because, you know, let's face it, armor's pretty bad right now with all the armor piercing out there. Now, if you go over, you'll see, you know, my Goliaths have 100% resistance to physical, 100% resistance to frost, 84 to fire, 24 to earth, and 24 to poison. So they're not great in this meta, but the higher level I get with them, the stronger they're going to get. And remember, there's only 2 real types of defense that you're looking at getting as a free-to-play player. The first type of defense is stall, so it is not worth the time that people will invest to attack you. That's what Skolnar is actually designed to do. The other type of defense that you can go for is destroy as many troops as possible within the time frame that they're attacking. And that's where your common, you know, Siegfrieds are going to come in. That's where your Rangers are going to come in. Any of the troop buffing Titans that are not defensive Titans. Now, you're normally not going to have a great deal of Titans to choose from. I've been playing for a while, and I only have 3 level 60 Titans. I have Skolnar, Solzar, and Venom Tusk. I've got others that are along the way as well, but I'll cover my thoughts on Titans moving forward at another time. Alright, so back to what actually matters here. And that's resource management. This is the key to everything. Number 1, always have your troops upgrading. If you ever have a day where it's not upgrading, you are losing out. Number 2 is always have your builders building. It takes forever in the later levels to actually go up a castle level. Now, I time my building to certain times during the week, if possible. And this is something key that you guys should remember here, is when is it best to actually upgrade your buildings as well as your spells and troops. And that all comes down to what is it, or when are you going to be able to dodge the most flack in Legend League? Because, you know, we've all been at that point where we've been maxed out resources like where I'm at now, and someone comes in, raids my garrison, and I lose 3 or 4 battles worth of resources. Does that ever frustrate you guys as much as it does me? Because maybe I'm the only one complaining here, but if I don't time it right, I lose, 4 or 5 attacks worth of resources. And so what I do with this is I had to understand what makes me a target in Legend League. So the 3 big things that make your garrison a target in Legend League is high VP. That's number 1. You have high VP, they are going to pounce on you as quickly as possible. And it won't matter how many resources you save up, you will continually be raided out until you cry yourself to sleep or whatever it is that people do. Number 2 item, and I thought about, when do I raid people? number one is the weak garrisons, or besides VP, it's weak garrisons. And what I mean by that is everyone has that daily quest that they have where they have to raid a garrison to complete it. Well, get yourself a level 50, 60 Titan, get yourself 600,000 worth of defense, and you're really not going to have to worry about that. They're going to those people will just bypass you. The final area that people will raid you for is high resources. But again, you can detour people that are looking for resource farming if you have a decent garrison. Now that comes to my strategies for how to avoid these three areas pretty consistently. The first thing that you should try to do, if possible, is time your upgrades for Monday and Tuesday during the week. You're not going to have a lot of VP, and people aren't focusing on garrisons during that time frame because bonus cap lands are where all the VP is going to be. And so if you can time it for Monday and Tuesday, all you do on those days is resource farm. You come in with your portal stones, burn your portal stones, harvest the high end resources, and then by the end of the Tuesday, you've got all of your buildings in upgrade mode. Second time that you look at doing this is during events. Now, during the events, people are focused on raiding the lands, and you can be focused on upgrading your buildings as well as your troops and spells. Make that a side product of the grind that you're already going to be doing. And so depending on how long the raids are actually going, you've got Monday and Tuesday. Hey Bo, it's good to see you. You got Monday, Tuesday, you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And those are your times, which just leaves Wednesday as that off day. You time those for when you actually upgrade your resources. Now, that being said, it's also important to understand what is the most efficient way to farm your resources. And that comes down to the Titans that you plan on using. If you're going to be farming those level 25, level 24 lands that are heavily guarded, sometimes it's not worth the resources to throw in group my Italis here with a bunch of pikemen, because I'm going to lose a bunch of pikemen, and while I'll win, I need 2 million food off of portal stones that I'm not going to regenerate, and so this guy is not good for farming resources, but he's great for farming VP. And so when you're building your Titans, you're going to have, and strangely enough, my resource farmer is one that everyone hates on, or a class that everyone hates on. And that's champions. Champions are absolutely busted when it comes to resource farming. Yeah, you're not going to be hitting the really large lands, but I'll show you what I mean here. I'll take Venom Tusk out real quick. Oh, and here's a great way. Yeah, I mean, champs are great, Bo. You just have to know where to use your Titan. And so I'm going to look for a farmland since I'm already maxed out on gold. And I have all 5 builders going and all my upgrades going. The best way to... Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true, Bo. But I'm looking at farming the high-end resource lands, the ones that no one else touches. And the way I have my Venom Tusk built, I can take out $1 million to $1.5 million pretty easily. And where you go to find resource lands, the first place you're going to go if you're farming a high-end resource land, is you go to League of Gods. Sorry if any League of Gods guys are watching here, but at the end of the day, you guys all have level 23 to level 25 lands, and they're heavily defended. And so I'm looking for lands that are going to be generating 140,000 food or more. Here we go. 160,000. 169,000. Skolnar does make me a little nervous. But let's see if I can't find something more. 125,000. Alright. Well, you know what? Go big or go home. I'm going to chicken out and go for the Joran. So I'm going to raid this guy right here. I'm going to take out all of my troops except for my little militia. And because these are level 25 Goliaths, I'll throw in some rage spells, some freeze spells, and some shields. Some reinforcements in here so I don't have to do anything big. And because I'm going against Goliaths, I will go with some more earth defense. My little terra firma here. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to battle these guys with my nice little Venom Tusk. And my goal right here... Oh, see, he did a little bit of damage there. So I'm going to freeze him. Throw a shield on my guy. Take another shot from him. Take him out. Going over here. Normally I don't use troops, but these guys are level 25 Goliaths. Oh, wow. This is going to be rough, guys. This was meant to be a tutorial video, but these guys have too much poison resist. So we'll see if I can win this. I very much doubt it. This is going to be a fail attempt on my first try. Whew. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. This is funny. So we'll try a different one here. But the thought process behind it's pretty easy. That's what I get for hitting a really high level one. But for example, let's say I have this level 15 here. I already know there's not going to be any buffs, so I'll run it through here. Arch, this is more of a tutorial series. Right now I am covering how to farm efficiently for your free-to-play player. And so what I'm talking about here is one of the best troops to actually do this with is a champion. You get a decent champion with decent relics, and you can farm all day long without worrying about the loss of troops, even against your level 25 counterparts. They will just absolutely wreck face. Log is only cares about VP. If you're not hitting their VP, and even if you are hitting their VP, as long as you don't tick them off, they'll be fine. Surely not going to worry about someone who doesn't put up the type of numbers that they want. And while I could put up good VP numbers if I really needed to, remember, my focus here is solely on upgrading and making sure my builders are never not working. And most importantly, if I have to choose between a builder and upgrading my troops, you always default to upgrading the troops. If you have to choose between an event and upgrading troops, you always default to upgrading your troops. Troops are key. Because even at level 20, the troops that I have, they get wrecked by level 22, level 23. While I may win the battle, I'm still losing most of my health on the troops. And so those levels are huge, more important than relics to the troops. And what's most important is when you have your troops leveled up, you will then be able to speed raid some of these larger garrisons. You're going to be able to know that, wow, I can take this guy out because I have my level 23 troops. I've got my Titan that is designed to bring down defenses. And so it all comes down to having a Titan designed to raid VP, having a Titan designed to raid resources where you're not really losing too much in the process either. Alright, so going into this, so yeah, those are my first 3 tips in my series of 10. Focus on your leveling in Legend League. You will not be competitive in the top 3 spots unless you can compete in speed raid with the guys in the top. And you're not going to be able to do that with a single Ranger champion. While you can take down a garrison and it may take you 40 seconds or a few minutes, these guys at the top are destroying level 60 Skolnars in 25 seconds flat. And so concentrate on having that Titan to do it. Have a resource Titan to farm to where you're not losing much, but you're still able to get the resources you need to upgrade. And then have a defensive Titan. And remember, there's 2 types of defensive Titans. Ones that are designed to stall it out, and then ones that are designed to do as much damage and make them pay the price. Both of them have their viability, and to be honest with you, as you are leveling, it is more likely that you are going to make them pay the price rather than stall them out. And so if you are level 12 to 18, I would focus specifically on maybe leveling a Ranger that can defend your base. Because even if you have a Guardian that has great skills, if your troop level's crap, you're still going to get destroyed. Now, another thing, it is important that you race to level 19 as quickly as you possibly can. Because that is the moment that the image on your castle changes to this. I can tell you those that are in the level 20s to 29, I don't even think twice when I see castles that are not fully upgraded. This level 18 guy right here, I would just run him over with my troops and my Titan without even having to look at what he does. Because I know that the highest level his Goliaths could possibly be is level 18. And so anyone that scans bases and looks for easy targets is going to be looking on the outside. And if you happen to be that guy on the outside with the castle level 18, it doesn't matter how good your Titan is to the bigger guys, because they will have someone that will just run you over. So upgrade to that point so you can avoid being low-hanging fruit for farmers. Any questions on these thoughts? I've been talking for a little while now. I have 7 more points about Legend League that I'll be going over, but I'm just going to keep them to 3 during the course of these videos. But I will go ahead and revisit my thoughts on raiding during these big events. Oh, and one more thing to understand is that as a free-to-play player, never spend your portal stones that you find during the regular week. Oftentimes I will come into an event with 30 plus stones, and that is basically 100 portal stone event reward that I can use to grind and save resources. Now, most of you probably knew that, but it goes a long way, because I made the claim yesterday that it only takes me 8 to 10,000 gems to finish an event. Now, the math doesn't add up if you look at it like that. That's right. You minimize losing the time. Sacrifice your VP if you have to, but don't go under what your guild needs you to do. But prioritize upgrading buildings and troops quickly, because you do not have the time, even with all your builders running, to upgrade all your troops before you go to the next level. As I was saying before, I only have 4 troops that are currently I'm upgrading actively, and that is the 4 specialty troops: Grenadiers, Panthers, Imperials, and Goliaths. Everything else is at a lower level for me, because there's just not time between leveling up to different castle levels. And all of my troops that I'm using to defend, with the exception of my Siegfried, use the specialty troops. Alright. Here we go. Questions on that? Any counter thoughts? Because keep in mind, while I may be a free-to-play player, I'm also open to new ideas. This has just been a method that's worked great for me. And while, once again, I can't compete with the guys, Legend of Gods guys, I can hit their fully stacked garrison and bring them down with time. Eventually, I will have Titans, like my Italus, that is level 60, that will absolutely destroy anyone I come across with those troops. Because troops, in-game, is all about troops. You've got to get your troops there. Each level on a troop is more important than one of your relics that you equip to your Titan. Just think of it that way. I don't even know why I'm waiting for those. Alright. One more thing I wanted to show you guys during the course of this stream is, when is it a good time to upgrade your relics? Because I'm the type of guy that it is all about the relics. Relics are important because as a free-to-play player, you won't be accessing every Titan. But with the right relics, you can make your 4-star Titans contenders. And I have a unique strategy for relic upgrading, and I'll cover it more in detail in one of my other ones, but I'll give you guys a sneak peek now. Alright, so in addition to making sure you have your 5 builders, one thing I would recommend, at least with the way the system is currently set up, is that you buy all 500 relic slots. If they fix the forge system, then this won't be as relevant. But those extra relic slots are crucial when you're upgrading your weapons. And if that means that, you sacrifice doing certain events until you have all 5 builders and all the relic slots, it is worth it in the long run. Trust me on that. I ended up having to do it. Now I'm sitting at 47,000 gems right now because there hasn't been an event that I've wanted to complete in a while. And I can go through events up to 4,000, 5,000 mark while still gaining gems along the way. The real grind, if you're going to spin gems, starts after the 6,000 mark, because I've saved up my portal stones and I have those event portal stones to use, and I'm raiding when I can with the expectation that I always want my portal stones charging. If they're ever not charging, with the exception of when I sleep 8 hours at night, then there's not much use to them, and I'm going to end up spending more for every time that happens. So, looking at relics, I choose to upgrade my relics when one, I have maxed out all of my storage, 500 out of 500, and I've got treasures in here loaded up as well. Sometimes I'll have 100, 150 in my treasure during an event where I'm grinding. Now, I don't just go in and expect for luck to happen when I'm forging relics. What I do is I search for the time when I'm more likely to get successes. And the way that I do that is I'll take one of my relics, and I'll show you guys today that I've been working on. As you can tell, I'm working on the lightning relics, because the moment Odin comes out, I want to make sure that I have the relics I need for him, or even for my the Valkyrie. And so the types of relics that I look for initially for my Ranger Titans are ones with armor piercing and critical. 2 armor piercing relics and 1 or 2 critical relics is enough to make any Ranger Titan able to take down the troops that are in front of him, assuming he has enough levels. And so I have my Cape of Aesir, which is level 10. I'm not using it right now. And I have my Cape of Deceit, which has armor piercing as well. Between those 2 things, I've got my 2 relics that I could use for armor piercing for my Ranger Titan. If I had to take it further, I also have my Heartseeker somewhere around here. But that's not a common relic that other people have. Now, whenever I've got my relics and they've stored up, assuming that I've made my upgrades, what am I doing once I hit the point where I'm at right now? And that's where I've got my food and my gold maxed out. This is the time to really burn through your food. If you're storing a 5-star relic like what I am, my Dragon Slayer, I already have my Earthshaker at level 10. That was brutal to go through, but any time where I hit 3 million or more food and the right conditions were set, I'd go to forge my 4-star. And I would, or my 5-star, and I would throw in 20 plus relics, maybe up to 30 or 40, to see if I could get 1 success. And I have found that if you're able to lock in 1 success within 5 or 6 tries, it's worth dumping a bunch of relics into to see if you can get additional levels. So I guess I'll go ahead and try it now, because I'd like to get a few more levels on my Dragon Slayer. While it's not very important at the moment, whenever they release a Guardian Titan that this will work very well on, it'll be good and ready to go. So here we go. Hopefully I get 1 or 2 successes and you guys will see it. Forge failed. And I'll probably do this each day for a little bit, just to find one of those times when I get my successes that I want. And then you guys can see how this works in action. And I have no problems doing this, considering that my food is at 5 million now. I don't mind losing some, because I've stored it up for the chance that I'll get that 1 or 2 successes. And these 5 stars cost 128,000 a hit for these to make this work. Alright. I don't know if today's going to be one of the days I get lucky, but if it is, you guys are going to see me burn through 5 million food trying to put this one together. I'll go ahead and try it 3 more times. If I can get the 1, I'll be good to go. Oh, there we go. Forge success. Titan damage, Titan health. You guys are going to see me double down. And keep in mind, these are 1-star relics. And it took me, I think, 16 to get a success. Now the problem with these 5 stars, you always run out of food before the end. And so when you've stored them up, you get benefits of being able to do something like this. I'm looking forward to getting Discord, because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one talking here. Bam! Another success. Funny thing is, this video, because I'm still terrible at it, is probably only going to be watched by 40 people. And the community as a whole just won't care. But you guys that get to see these strategies in action, run with it. Learn what you can. How many battles a week do I do? It depends. On a week that I am really running with an event, I can drop. When I was crazy about it, that winter event, I put in 3,000 battles in that week. But that's not the norm for me. On a event week that I'm not going to be heavily pursuing, I'll have a few hundred battles. At the end of the day, it's how much time are you actually willing to put into this. And so that's why I save my tokens during events. Because as I save my tokens during these events, I get to the point where I have 20 of them, and I can do an event for free. Alright. Now my goal with this particular relic is to get to the point where I put in a good 4 or 5 levels on this before my food runs out. I've got 2 levels now, so I'm looking at doubling it. And these 5-star ones are the most brutal ones to deal with. So give me a moment. And I know all of you who have dealt with these 5-star relics in the past know what I'm talking about. Hey guys, I am sorry about that. I had a phone call come in and I didn't know it disconnects you. So that's kind of funny. But I will continue with my little grind here to show you guys a few more successes on this Dragon Slayer. And while there's other relics right now I should be focusing on, everyone wants to see a 5-star maxed out. So I'm going to go through here, find my 3-star relics I could really care less about. I'm going to start forging my 3 stars with the hopes that I'll get another 2 levels out of this before I run out of viable forge options. But as it is right now, I'm considering this a success just because I got 2 levels on my Dragon Slayer in one sitting. The most I've ever gotten on a 5-star in one sitting was 5 levels. But I had a lot of food, and it was one of those times where it works out. Alright, so going through this. Three stars are easy to come by. I would encourage you guys that Titan buffing relics, just stick with 4 stars. Alright. One, two, three, 4. Too many Goliath belts to count. Alright, here we go. 2 million food left. Bam! Another success. Now keep in mind, I want you guys to see this. I have used 100 and about 15 relics to get 3 levels on a 4-star. 2 of those levels came from 1-star forging ins. That is the type of results that I couldn't get when I first started this game. Yeah, I save a lot of 3 stars for my leveling up of my 5-star relics. I'm glad this actually ended up being one of those days where I could count on it. Now, as I was talking about yesterday in regards to events, what are you really looking for in an event? You really want... Oh, man, there we go. Another success on this. It's a good day. So let's count them. This is 4 levels in one sitting. I'll get to my other tangent in a moment. Hey guys, if I'm really lucky here, maybe I'll be able to max out this thing before I run out of food. But remember, it is key that you push this during the days when Lady Luck is with you. Because we've all had the days where you drop 100, 200 relics in something and you don't get a level. Whether it's a 3-star, 4-star, or whatnot. Alright, I said I wanted 4 levels. I got 4 levels so far. So every level beyond this... Yeah, I have a lot of Great Plagues, but these are all 3 stars. Now, strangely enough, I get more excited for the 3 relic drops per or 1 battle events than I do actual events. Because I will absolutely spin gems during those events. And I will ping pong off lands, and I will max out my relics, and I will get an entire 1 or 2 4-stars leveled up just from those events. And I cannot wait for the upgrade, because every time I have to scroll through this, it is painful to do. Alright. 879,000 food to go. If I can get one more, this will go beyond my wildest dreams. If I get 2 more, well, there goes my 1 more. If I get 2 more, I'll be close to maxing this thing out, so my next little sessions, I'll be able to do it all at once. That's the enjoyable part about this game. Oh, here we go. I got some crappy stuff. Forge. So if you think you can't get that 5-star relic maxed, or you know someone that doesn't think they can, refer them over to this video. We've gotten 5 levels in one sitting on a 5-star. And yes, it's cost a buttload of food, but that's food that would have just been stolen by somebody else. Which is why you keep everything upgrading as constantly as you can, and when you have excess food, that's when you spend it on events like this. Alright. This is the last time, guys. If I get that one extra upgrade, it'll be something to remember. $147,000 food to get these. Oh, alright. Well, I didn't get the 6th level, guys, but I got half of a 5-star relic leveled. Started at level 2, got it all the way up to level 7. Hopefully this helps you out. Maybe whenever they update the Forge, you won't need to get gimmicky like this to make it work. But there's got to be some sort of spin component that they're going to be throwing into it. And so when I figure out the next system, it'll be good. Thanks, Ashley. I do think that was a nice rate. Now, let's see how many relics I have left. 5 levels on a 5-star, using roughly 150 to 160 relics, ranging from 1-star to 3-star. Now, I will be grinding a little bit more tonight, but these little videos aren't necessarily to be here for the grind. I'll get to the point where I'm doing that. Right now, I just want to really get my thoughts out and have these videos be something that are that people can learn from. And it will get to that point. Now, I'll be closing the stream here in the next few minutes, but if there's any questions you want to ask right now, feel free to ask. If not, all 5 of you that are in here, it has been an absolute pleasure working with you. So, yeah, quick recap. Today's little session is, while we dove a little bit into relics, it's really about where you focus as a free-to-play player. Your focus should primarily be on leveling. Get your castle to specifically level 19 as possible. so you can avoid the people that are looking at picking you off because you have weaker level troops. Within that leveling, your number one priority is to level troops. Yes, at my castle level, I hit... I'll show you what type of lands I hit real quick. Because, this is League of Relics to me, not League of Titans. While some would... Let me see if I can find lands. This is an example of a land that I would run over real quick and have no problems with, because it doesn't have the minimum amount of troops, and I could take it out within seconds. Those lands that have 4 troops, you're not going to get any relics off of them unless you're just dumb lucky. And so you look at maximizing the relic drops with your attacks. That way, even on events that you're not planning on completing, you get what you need out of them. And that is relics and relic levels. Now, the other aspect that you're going to be looking at doing here is what to do, and this is something that is big, because if I'm going to complete an event for 8 to 10,000, I need to make sure I'm using every advantage that I can get my hands on, and that's saving up my portal stones. I haven't used any relics on this event, and I haven't used any gem buys. If I did, it would have been like 10. I've just been using up saved portals and the natural generation and my bonus titan, and I'm at 1,400. Well, I'll probably drop 1,000 gems on this event. What I'm gaining back is 4 poison tokens, and those 1,000 gems will be basically paid back to me in these first 5,500 that I'm actually looking at completing in this event. And so I'm gaining everything by getting to the 5,500 mark. I start losing gems and start actually spending them outside of the grind once I start aiming for the 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. Now this is a decent event, but I already have all of these relics. And to be honest with you, these titans don't really entice me right now. I don't see their Basasi being anything different than Legada. And I think the poison meta is going to come to an end soon. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to regret this. I already have 2 Orbs of Death. And Okosi is still going to be a paladin with 1 troop buffing skill. Not something that is turning my head. And so this is a grind event to me to gain resources. I know it's weird to think of an event as a area to gain resources, but that's essentially what you're doing. So yeah, prioritize your leveling, understand when the best days to actually upgrade your buildings are going to be. Monday and Tuesday when people are VP hunting on lands. And then on event days, when your only focus here is going to be to, go through the event, but also upgrade all your buildings. You do that, and you'll be off to a good start in Legend League as a free-to-play player. And eventually you will get to the point where you can compete with the big guys. Because I have Titans that can do it, just through the natural grind. But more importantly, I have relics that take those Titans over the top. Which is why, to free-to-play players, at the end of the day, it's all about the relics. Now, hitting troops at my castle level, I try to avoid that unless I have a higher level Titan, because I don't want to lose too many troops. And I think I missed that a little earlier, actually. And so, while I may not be hitting troops my level. I'll hit troops lower level than me, but I'll hit a ton of them to maximize my drops off of that. I'm willing to sacrifice a little experience on my Titans to make sure that I can store up my resources for days like this, where I can level up my relics. And sorry, it took me a while to think about your question and get back to it. But all of that being said, that's all I got for you guys tonight. I'll look at posting something else in probably next week when the next lightning event starts, and we will cover the next 3 points on free-to-play strategies. I'm going to go ahead and change the title of this video too to relate the things that I passed out, and I already had it changed, but at the end of the day, this stream got cut short due to a phone call, and it had to restart. So now I have 2 parts to the same stream. No problem. You guys have a good night.